that team, kind of get off to a decent start. Then you basically went 3 months where you play about 500 ball. And this was a team expected to win everything, right? So there's, the crowd was getting restless back in Boston. Then, before, what was a week before the trade deadline was the Varitek moment, right? The A-Rod Varitek.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, what did that do to the team? That was a weird day, right? It was raining, and they didn't think they were going to play. And Yankee guys were even starting to go back to the hotel because they thought the game was rained out. You wind up playing. It ends up being that crazy day. We look back at it and say that was the turning point. But what did it feel like in real time for you guys going through that, the comeback, beating Rivera, which maybe was a harbinger of what could happen in October? Do you remember that day? What it was like?
A little bit of it. I remember the fact that they didn't want to play and all that stuff, and hey, our starters are lined up. Let's get this done. But really, after all the dust up happened and everything was done, like you said, we had only been playing 500 balls, so we kind of got a little complacent, I think. And it was one of those things that somebody relit the candle. We realized where we were, what we had left to go in the season. And we knew we weren't where we wanted to be. We should have been leading that division, easily. But, that's why you play the games. So I think afterwards, and like you talked about, the trade deadline was around that time. Everything kind of came together, and we got together as a group. Like, boys, let's go. We're here for a reason. Let's go out there and do what we can. Let's start to take care of our business, and we'll see what happens.
They traded Nomar. For New Englanders, that was, it was almost unfathomable. You've probably heard that Theo Epstein gets a call from his brother screaming at him. You did what? Because he's, from here, right? Was that, that kind of jolted all of us to attention. What did that do in the clubhouse? That's kind of almost like, listen, no one's untouchable. They're really trying to do everything they can to put this together.
Yeah, it was. It was surprising, but then again, I don't think it was real surprising because Nomar had been battling, and at the time, I don't even know if he was active when he got traded. I don't really remember that, but it was one of those things. I think the writing was kind of on the wall, before that. But you know what? Him going, that was we quickly closed the book on him because we can't dwell on what we lost. When we got Orlando Cabrera, he brought another sense of that rejuvenation. Like he came in there, smiles, and he's chattering, and he was the kind of guy that would never let you sit in the corner by yourself. He's like, hey, let's go, let's get this done. And he was just one of the pieces that they added that and we, like I said, we continued to reach up and go get our goal.
All right, I won't go pitch by pitch in the playoffs, okay? But I do want to go through a couple of moments
because I think
it'd be a long time. It'd be a couple hundred points we'd have to go through. But I do think that your performance in Game 3 against the Angels is often forgotten about, right? You get the last couple of outs of the 8th inning. You come back out in the 9th. I forget who hit the single to start it, but you get the double. You got bases loaded with 1 out. And I think it was Gloss and Anderson, or Anderson and Gloss. I don't remember the order, but you strike them both out with the bases loaded in the 9th inning. What was that like for you? We're talking about, you're here to try to win a World Series, and here you are, getting the Red Sox into extras when Ortiz ultimately hits it with the walk-off. But what was that performance like? And as, a lot of big moments were to come over the next few weeks, but that was a pretty huge one at the time.
Yeah, and it's something that you kind of forget about because it seems like the Angels series was so easy, but now you bring it up. It was one of those things. I don't remember, like you said, I walked a couple guys, which I don't normally do, but it's one of those things that being in the playoffs a couple times before and being around a little bit. The one thing I've always learned is you can't panic. Really, you're only one pitch from getting out of that inning, and it's once you get your back against the wall, it's like, hey, let's go. This is what you've been training for your whole life. Let's bear down. Let's get back to your game plan. Let's make a few pitches. And those guys, I think I had always fared pretty well against them. So I'm like, keep the ball in the middle of the plate. Let's to run it in on them. Let's get them down and out, and we'll see what happens. And fortunately, it worked out.
Ortiz hits the home run. You win that series. You wait around a couple of days. You find out it's going to be the Yankees. A year ago, you had been sitting home watching Red Sox Yankees in the ALCS.
Yeah.
You get another crack at them. What was going through your mind going into the season? It really was kind of what you envisioned that prior winter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's inevitable. It's going to be Yankees Red Sox in the championship series to see who moves on, and it's. I think we kind of got hit in the mouth really early. It's like holy cow. Okay, you lose game one, no big deal. All right, game two. You know what? We've won 3 games in a row before, and all of a sudden, the butt whip, and we took game three. It was like again, really, and it got to a point where when game three went down, we get in the clubhouse. It's really quiet. But it was like it almost took the pressure off because it's either you lose and you go home, or you fight and you win, you come back the next day. And all of a sudden it's like, forget it. Let's go out there, have fun. Let's play our game and see what happens. And it's very, a lot of the guys have said it and it's very well publicized, but, the guys in that clubhouse, we never quit. We didn't think, oh, we're going to come back and win the next 4. You know what? Come out tomorrow. Let's play good ball and let's see what happens.
Game 4, we're sitting out on the street doing the pregame show. And I think the Patriots had like a 4:00 game. And it's dead. I mean, there's not a soul outside the ballpark. Everyone's in the bars watching the Patriots. Scalpers are trying to get rid of the tickets to game 4 of the series. Like, there is not a person outside that clubhouse who believes you can get it done. And I know, you look back now because you did it. But going into that game 4, and you had a great performance that night that let it keep going. But can you remember, like you just said, you guys kind of had a what the hell, why not us? Let's just go out there and do it. But can you remember what it was like getting there and being out there before that game? Because I'm telling you, man, from the outside looking in, it was about as desolate as Fenway Park has ever been.
Yeah. And honestly, as a player, it really was. The pressure was off. Because like I said, you're going to be home, laying by the pool in 3 days, or you're going to be continuing to play. So it's like there was nothing to lose for us, obviously I say that, but, it really was. It took the pressure off us. We went back to having fun, some of the breaks started to go our way. And, it's one of those things. You go out there and you play smart ball, don't make mistakes, good pitching, and good things happened. And fortunately, the tide started to turn for us and the pressure started to be on them. And they're the ones that started making the mistakes.
2 2/3 innings from you that night. And there's no margin for error. I mean, you're talking about, right? Every pitch is basically with the season on the line. How gassed were you? I mean, it was the first of 3 consecutive days you pitched. So clearly you weren't too gassed. But what was it like coming out of that game? I mean, you did the job. You wind up moving on and winning to fight another day. How'd you feel after that game 4?
Yeah, after game 4 wasn't that bad, because I had the previous day off, so I was fresh and ready to go. 5 was good. Now game 6 was a different story. Game 6, I was running on fumes, and that's one of those days where I was really proud of myself because I had to dig deep for that. It's like, I want this. The city wants it. I was doing it for my team. We had fought hard to get to that point, and I'm like, come on, kid, make a good pitch. Make a good pitch. Just one pitch at a time, make a good pitch. We made it interesting, but, in the end, it got it done.
Because of the rainout, it winds up being the rainout prior to that stretch. You wind up having 3 straight nights, including, 2 in Fenway, 1 in New York. You threw 100 pitches over those 3 nights. I guess it comes out to 4 innings? 5, right? 5 scoreless innings when you put it all together. Was there ever a point? I mean, I know you and I know your personality, and I know the answer is no, that you were never going to say I can't go tonight. But was there concern around you? Like, was Francona worried you might not be able to go the 3rd night?
I don't think he ever asked, and our relationship was good enough right there. It's like, don't ask, The answer is always yes. I mean, it's a kind of a do or die situation. Like, I'll take that ball. I'd have thrown another 10 innings if I had to, because, like I said, that's we wanted it. We wanted it. We were there for that, and there was no way that I was going to be told no.
For me, it was after game 5 when you were going back to New York. I said, you know what? They might pull this off. And I know, like you said before, that the pressure was gone, and going into game 4, you had nothing to lose, right? Because the next loss, it was over.
Yeah.
When did it occur to you, you might actually pull this off?
Oh, definitely after game five. Game five was, like I said, we're going back to New York. This is exactly what we wanted. We backed ourselves in the corner. We were starting to kind of jab our way out, and we knew it's like, hey, we got this. And sometimes I think playing on the road is easier. Like I think Kurt Schilling's the one that said, hey, there's nothing better than having 55,000 people boo you. And I agree. I'd learned to love the negative attention. When people are booing you, that means you're doing something right. And so it's, once we got back there for game five and we were able to pull that out, game six was a little bit of a little bit of a grind, but, still we nose to the grindstone. Let's get after it. Let's do this.
You got through game six. Johnny Damon kind of took the drama out of game seven pretty quickly. How happy were you that this wasn't a one-run nail-biter in the ninth?
I was, I'm sure Johnny was happy. I was pretty happy myself. Although, after it was all said and done, I remember running in from the bullpen. The first person I went in to find was Tito. And I was like, Tito, hey, I should have been the guy on the mound right there. I earned it. I wanted that. And I just remember him looking at me. He goes, kid, you're going to get your chance. So, went off and celebrated, and he was right.
That's incredible. How strange was it to have that celebration on the field at Yankee Stadium, or was that just a beautiful thing for you guys?
It was a beautiful thing, but it was short. I mean, it's not like we stayed there all night and just rubbed it in. It's like, we did it. Let's enjoy this moment. Let's get our trophy, do all your things, right? We still got a job to do. And, I think ultimately that Yankee series prepared us for the World Series, obviously. But it's like, don't take anything for granted. Foot on the gas from pitch one, and let's go get it done.